Hello. Hi guys. Come say hi. I am going to try to share this freaking live. We're gonna try hard. Cause I don't know. Nope. Bring somebody on camera. That's not it. I don't know what I just did. Hey Thalia, how are you? If you're here, come say hi. I don't have any music today, but that's okay. Because we're doing something different. How are you? How are you enjoying this full moon in Aquarius? Rack City B! You see her, you see her. What's up, Fonda? Mom to a college student. I saw you got the little man. Nothing little. He is huge. He's taller than both of y'all, and you still call him my baby. Well, he'll always be your baby, let's be real. But yeah, wow, college mom. That is new. How you feeling, girl? You tired? I know that moving process was a trip. Hey Sheila, how are you? How is the full moon in Aquarius treating you? And it's not just the first one, it's the second one, because we had so much fun that first one. So we're going to talk about that. I want to share this and let people know that I am live. But, you know, Facebook wants to do not what I want it to do. So we're going to see. This is every freaking time. This is every time. So give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I'm still trying to... So tell me what's going on with y'all. How are we making out? How are we making out? I know... This full moon in Aquarius has been dragging my ass. Dragging my ass. It's like, you know, but how far down into the abyss of the ocean can we take you? How about to the fucking floor? And then drag you across the draggiest parts and the rocks and all that shit down there with I was about to say catfish. Now, you know catfish ain't no saltwater fish. See, this is what I'm saying. This is how crazy it is. Hi, Empress. How are you? How is this energy treating you? Are we living? What's going on? How's it going? I need to lay all the way down. Tired as fuck. Girl, the hashtag is absolutely appropriate because it's real out here in the field. We are live, y'all. Let me just put this up here real quick. You know, it's a shame when I gotta access a whole nother phone in order for me to be able to share this live on my personal page. Like, that's the fuck shit Facebook be on. But you know what? We did it. We did it, Joe. And we gonna move on. I finally got back on days. Yes, I remember you saying that you were moving off of nights and you're moving to days. So I think the last time that I was on here, Thalia, you were just moved. So you hadn't done the day shift yet. You were like, tomorrow or in the next couple of days, you'll be on that shift. I've just been resting and getting some extra much needed rest. Girl, that's all we could do. That's all we could do. So you had a good day today, Sheila? I'm glad somebody did. I am glad somebody did. So let's go get ahead and get started. So I've shared this page. Feel free to tag some folks. If you were a part of the original card reveal group and you recognize the people that you want to tag, feel free to do so. We'll be revealing cards, but we'll also be talking about this second full moon in Aquarius. I'll be sharing like what is going on. I'll also be, you know, in my normal fashion, sharing with you guys what's been going on over here in Rack City B World. What are some of the changes? What are some of the updates? What are some of the things that you may be seeing differently with me around here? Because it's all apropos to the global astrology, if you will. So first, let me introduce myself. For those that you don't know me, my name is Biba Ta. I am a psychic medium. Maybe I'm going to start calling myself an intuitive guide. I don't know what I want to say about that, but we're going to do something. I'm also an energy healing practitioner. In particular, I like to use matrix re-imprinting and emotional freedom technique, which is simply a technique that helps to reduce stress and also to get in touch with your emotions that will ultimately help you to release them. And it's also a great way to set intentions and also get in touch with deeper parts of yourself. Lastly, I'm an avid world traveler, having been to all the states and about 15 different countries, most of which, maybe about 12, I think, have been solo. So my country of choice that I am loving right now is Mexico. Like, that is my new home. Actually, I didn't tell anybody this, but I literally just got back 2 days ago from Mexico. So I was there for 2 weeks with the fam, and it was lovely, except for the fact that we did receive a direct hit from Hurricane Grace. So that was fucking fun. You can imagine that we didn't even know. We were like lounging and chilling. The host of the Airbnb sends my sister this text message and says, so we're going to send somebody to put the cinnamon tape up. We're like, cinnamon tape? What the fuck for? Now, let me back you all the way up to the first time we had gone to Tulum. My sister and I went on a trip. It's scary as all hell. So my sister and I went to Tulum last October because we just needed to get away. So we got this really nice place. We weren't planning to be around people. You know, it was fairly early enough in the pandemic, but we were like, look, leave the people alone. Fuck the people. We chilling. And there was a tropical storm the day that we were supposed to leave, so our flight was canceled. And we got there, so they were just cleaning up, you know, doing all the effort. The power was back on, everything was fine. So we were there for, I think, like a day and a half. And then the next day there was word that a Category 4 hurricane was supposed to be hitting Tulum directly. So we heard news of that like early in the morning. It was all over the Weather Channel. It was like alerts. So they weren't selling alcohol. There's like a mandate that you cannot buy alcohol in the whole of Mexico when there's a hurricane. And people are like, what the fuck we supposed to drink now? We don't want no water. Famira would have died. No tequila for you, Famira. You couldn't have done it. So, yeah, so the grocery store was ridiculous. Lines, it was like Trader Joe's during a snowstorm when the guy is all the way around yonder by the cheese, and he has that big sign that says, line starts here. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the line is like somewhere else normally in the store, so you have an idea of like how far the line is back in the store one. It was really bad. So the hurricane wasn't supposed to hit until like super early in the morning, and by the time we woke up, it had gotten downgraded to a Category 2, and it just bypassed Tulum, and it hit Akumal, and it hit Cancun. So when we were leaving, we had seen all of the damage that it had done in Cancun. So there was like, they had down poles, down trees, like businesses had been closed because there was like gas stations even, which are, you know, pretty big, especially when you're on 307 close to Cancun, by the airport. So gas stations are all up and through there. So a number of them were closed. So you can imagine like, oh my God, how are we going to fill up the rental car? So fast forward to this past, what was that? Thursday? It was Thursday. So no word at all. Like they were too busy talking about Henry, which has struck the New England section of the States. And then it's like this little piddling announcement that Hurricane Grace will be heading directly for Tulum. And you see the little map and you see this red thing and it's like direct hit. It's supposed to be a Category 1 hurricane, hit Tulum at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it's supposed to continue across the Yucatan Peninsula all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And once it gets to the Gulf of Mexico, it's supposed to strengthen again and then hit like central Mexico, like Veracruz, and then like Mexico City, like that central area of Mexico, and then hopefully dissipate into the night air. Listen, this is why I always keep saying that's a smart move, because let me tell you something. If it's a sneak hurricane that comes up, girl, you ain't buying a goddamn thing. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Or send me to your Mexican cartel so I can get Myra, you're crazy. So you can get a blunt. Girl, the cartel ain't sending you one. They're not going to sell you one single blunt. They ain't giving you just one. You need to buy the big weight. You need to buy heavyweight. Hey, Jessica. Oh, thank you. I miss you too. Girl, a fucking mess. So, yeah, this little piddling announcement about this hurricane, child. I'm like, oh, shit. So, we go to the grocery store, and we're praying that don't nobody know about this hurricane but us. Because we had seen the ramifications of the last time when a hurricane was hitting. The line came out the store, just down the block, and around the motherfucking corner to get into the grocery store the last time. So don't nobody want to stand in that line when we trying to get sustenance. Like, We were down to our last can of beans. We had no sardines. You know, they turn off the electric there. Sometimes they turn off the water. Sometimes they're not sure if the generator is working. Child, we in a whole nother country. This ain't the U.S. Like, we got to act accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the grocery store, and we were like maybe the fifth in line, got right in. We were the second person in line at the cash register, and by the time we came out of the store, we were like, we were stealth. All right, we were motherfucking ninjas up in there. We had the list. We knew this. We've been in this store before, so this was like, you know, take two from the last time we were in Tulum. So we knew what the hell to do. Like, all right, this the lane. You handle the vegetables and the fruit. That's over here. I'm gonna hit aisle 7 for the snacks. We're gonna go to aisle 3 for the cereal boxes. Like, we knew what it was up in there. We didn't even bother to be scolded in Spanish about picking up liquor that we can't buy like we were the last time. So we didn't even touch it. Didn't even bother. We knew what the fuck was up. Got out of there, and by the time we came out, line down the street, and people were steadily on the way to the grocery store. And we're like, oh, this isn't bad. It's going to be a category 1. Because the last time, category 4. That was that fuck shit, y'all. That's what the fuck that was. I don't know, about 3:30 in the morning, I hear this wind and some sort of weird rumble. And I was like, we up. Hey, Diana. We are up. We ain't playing. Listen, I was awake. It's 3:30 in the morning. The guys had come. They sent them in. We had like big windows in the entire apartment. So it's like big windows in the living room area. There were big windows in the bedroom. Big windows all over the place. So they cinnamon taped, which is like regular masking tape, but it's brown, so it's strong. They do these X's on the tape just so if the window comes in, if it gets blown in, it doesn't shatter to pieces and like end up being these like sharp bullet-like projectiles. It ends up shattering in such a way that they keep the window together. So that's why they cinnamon tape the windows up, right? So the bulls came, the cinnamon taped the joint all up, smooth. We couldn't take pictures no more because there was no window that was free of cinnamon tape up in there. Not at all. And then they also brought in the chairs upstairs, and they brought in the cushions upstairs, and everything was concrete. Like the apartment that we were staying in, whole building concrete. The benches outside on the terrace was concrete. The table upstairs was concrete. The platform to the bed, concrete. Like, nothing in that place was like heavily masculine. So a lot of gray concrete, big windows with the greenery outside, wooden doors. It was beautiful. It was modern, lovely place. But concrete all up and through there. And then you just like, I understand why now. So yeah, back to the fact that shit is blowing around outside. I'm hearing like this loud, like boom, 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 like upstairs on the terrace. I'm like, what in the hell is up there blowing around? What is that? We don't know what that is because they've got all the chairs in. My nephew was sound asleep. He ain't hear a fucking thing. I'm flipping out. I'm outside the room now with my sister. We're in the hallway, and you see the trees. Because, again, windows all up and through there. Trees are like, woo, woo, woo. Then all of a sudden, but they were swaying from side to side. And then all of a sudden, it looked like it was like a big rumble. And then the trees looked like they were coming right at us. We start running. Where are we running to? Where are we running to? All right, Premier, see you later. We don't know where we're running to. We're running to the back part of the apartment, but then they start swaying again to the side. It was like this. We had power up until for like an hour. So I'm on WhatsApp talking to a friend, and then all of a sudden the power was like, pew! And then it came back up. And then it was up for like 10 minutes and went down. Pew! And I'm like, oh God, I need power. And it came up and I'm like, yay. Then another 5 minutes, it went down, did not come back on again for the rest of the day. No power, but the water was running the entire time. But the host said that the water was going to be cut off. And as a matter of fact, like before the hurricane even came, they turned the water off. Like that afternoon, we were like, hold the motherfucking phone. We need water up in here. Ain't no hurricane nowhere near here. It's like 5 p.m. Hurricane's supposed to be here at 2 a.m. We got a whole lot of hours between then and now for water to be working. So we need you to get it popping. Put the water back on. So they put the water back on. Water is on. Whole storm. Like, it was good. But me and my sister, we're like Hurricane G's at this point. So we cooked all the food that needed to be cooked. We showered that night. We had the AC on full pump in every room in that place just in case the power went out. Because Tulum is humid. It's hot. It's fucking hot. And the humidity comes out there early in the morning for you, right? So it's a fucking mess. And we're in there sweltering, like closer towards the, like later on. And all night long, it would be quiet. Then it would be like that whistling wind, but you're seeing these trees and you're hearing stuff clattering around upstairs. Then it would be like silence, but you're still seeing like light wind. And then that rumble would come. And that rumble was like reminding me of that movie with Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. You know, the one with the aliens that came down and people were like, oh, aliens, they're here with our friends. And they let out that bullhorn sound. And then it's like a murder spree and blood everywhere. It sounded like that. So needless to say, I will have nightmares forever with that rumbling sound. I still don't know what that is. So I managed to get to fall asleep. I was asleep for an hour, woke up, hurricane still going on. And we're all just like, all right, well, you know. But eventually the hurricane was gone. Probably around maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock. More like 8 o'clock later that morning, let me say, because it was 3 when it started. So about 5 hours of pure terror. And at no point did we look at all this wind and shit going on where we were like, yeah, that was a really strong category 1. We were like, that could not have possibly been a category 1 hurricane. Somebody fucking lied. That was clearly a category 28. Okay. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. Scale only goes up to 5. I checked. So it was really a category 1. The winds didn't go above, I'd say, like 95 miles per hour. So you're thinking like 95 miles per hour winds. You're like, that should be at least a category 2. It is not. It's not. But it felt like the trees were just going to pick up their roots and just start walking away. Like watching that outside, it was really scary. But what I will tell you is that concrete building was going nowhere. There was no vibration. Even the windows, I'm like, they got hurricane strength windows or something. Windows weren't clickety clacking. They weren't vibrating at all. Like nothing was moving except the trees outside. And they must have planted them in cement too, because for the most part, they stayed upright. I mean, they were whooshing around and they might have been a little bent, but for the most part, the ones around where we were staying, they were there. Now, a couple of them did break off. And then we're looking outside. We see that there was a tree like behind our car and a tree on the one side of our car. We get outside and the tree that fell on the side of the car actually hit the car. So it's a big ass fucking dent, like right above the window, like right here and on the side of the car. We're like, thank God for insurance, but do we tell them? Should we tell them? They ain't gonna notice. It'll be fine. Hurricane. What are we supposed to do? I mean, where are we going to park the car at? We can't run out there in the middle of the fucking storm like, oh my God, just in case these trees. Not cool. Great. Just dangerous, right? So needless to say, like leaving up out of there, out of the development that we were in was probably a bit more harrowing after the storm was over because it's a lot of trees back there. We are in fact in the jungle, the Yungle. So a lot of trees down, poles down and things like that because it was actually a direct hit this time. It didn't like veer off into someplace else. Like it straight hit us. And once we got out to the main road, there was just traffic, but otherwise, like it wasn't bad. Even the drive up to Cancun, there was flooding in certain places. The big like billboard signs and stuff on the side of the highway, some of those were blown down. Billboards were ripped to shreds. There was like a gas station that looked like a tree had just like crumbled the whole thing. But for the most part, like the drive back was pretty pleasant, although it did rain and rain hard along the way. And that's like an hour and a half drive. So I was haul assing. I'm like, we all need cell service. We didn't have cell service. That was the other thing. We need cell service and internet and working AC. And the good thing was that the place where we were staying, that was the last day we were staying there. So that morning at 11, we were supposed to check out. Like, perfect! We wanted to leave anyway. We can't stay here with no AC and no electricity. And they were still working on the generator the day before. I'm like, how long this place been up? You know, like hurricane season is real with the tropical storms and heavy storms and shit. You just putting the generator together the day before? This should have been done. Whatever. We left. And by the time we got to Cancun, AC pumping, internet working, cell phone service back, comfortable beds, the whole nine. It was glorious. We had a hard time getting food, but that's because it was like a light day because they also experienced heavy rains and stuff. But otherwise, like, that was the most interesting part of the trip. I don't need to have another hurricane experience like ever in my entire, never need to do it again. And that really wasn't my first hurricane because there have been hurricanes around here, but nothing direct like that. And then I'm home when I've experienced those non-direct hurricanes. Like Sandy, it like bypassed us and went like up north, like northeast Philly, like up towards New York and New Jersey and stuff like that. So we experienced the heavy rains, and so there was some flooding in my basement, but not like, you know, shit was down there floating and whatnot. It wasn't like tile was blowing off my roof or anything crazy, but yeah, I don't need to have another hurricane experience like ever. So that was really scary, but we made it. Everybody's alive. We got funny stories to tell now because it wasn't fucking funny at the time. But yeah, it's not a category 1 unlike like until like 75 miles or so. Yeah. So you can imagine like, oh, tropical storm. Oh, that's not bad. Tropical storm sounds like, oh, it's just really swaying out there a little bit. Oh, it's really, no, it's not nice. You got to get to 75 mile per hour winds in order for it to be anything other than a tropical storm or a tropical depression. And I'm like, what's the difference? It's tropical and dangerous and shit is happening with some winds and shit. You can't be outside. So what's the difference between a storm and a depression? I don't know. I still haven't figured that out. Girl, you from my neck of the woods. I grew up out that way. Yeah, I'm up here. So don't need to have that experience again, but we lived. Otherwise, like, it was a beautiful trip. It was a much needed trip. It was an amazing trip. And I'm so glad I took it. And even though that hurricane came and tried to wreck some shit up, I'm glad we survived the course. And I'm glad that we have, you know, memories to share about. Remember that time we braved that category 1 hurricane in Mexico? Like, that's kind of like solid gold in terms of storytelling. We could accentuate and embellish just a little bit. We almost lost my nephew. He was blown away. Like, you know, he was in his bed sleep, child. He was rocked. We had 80-mile-an-hour winds out here in Colorado once. That was scary. I can imagine it was. It's ridiculous. We're fucking this ridiculous. Like, but Mother Earth, child, whoo, she is tired of us. But that's another story for another day. So let me get into what we are doing right now. She said, yes, good times, good times. Woo! We lived! Yeah, no. But it's all good. So today, I mean, I gave you guys this whole harrowing story about this trip, but really what I'm here to talk to you guys about is the second full moon in Aquarius and also card reveal. So you guys had picked cards, and let me put them in order. You picked cards yesterday to really hone into what the answer is to a question that you really need an answer to, and it's also to speak to the current situation that you may be finding yourself in, where you're a little stuck and you need a little bit more information so that it can inform you how to go forward, what to expect, how to really make your way through this Aquarius second full moon situation. Because like I said earlier in the conversation, I don't know about you, but the shit is dragging me. How y'all living out here? That reminds me of that one Ike. Oh yeah, Ike, I remember him. I went to Kansas and they left me outside in a tent when a tornado was in the next town. Do they not love you? How could they do that? That's another thing. I mean, hurricanes are scary enough, but tornadoes, I don't play around with them. I don't know. No. And the other thing I learned about hurricanes too, guys, is that on the front end, that's the calmer part of the storm. Then you get to the eye and you're like, oh, it's over. It's not over. It's just the eye. But on the back half of the storm, the destruction is way worse. The winds change direction and the stuff that blew up here is blowing out and causing even more problems. It's like, so you get danger, calm, worse danger. Like, it's like 3-pronged attack with a hurricane. Like, don't play the shot game during the hurricane. None of us take a shot every time the tree hits the house crap. Oh God, that's crazy. So as I mentioned earlier too, that this was the second Aquarius full moon. So the first Aquarius full moon was in July. So that was July 23rd. And at that time, I'm sure that you were experiencing something similar, because typically with a full moon, there is the ending of a cycle, right? There is completion that's happening. So the reason why this is a rare blue moon is because, again, there was one full moon in Aquarius, and then there's another one in Aquarius that's happening now. So there may have been some completion, there may have been some ending of a cycle, there may have been some of that happening at that time, and really what's happening now is we are done. We are complete. We are absolutely motherfucking finished. Thank you for coming out, God bless you, and good night at this point in the game. So really, in order to see like what this whole entire cycle was for you about, or what was going on really for you, what the universe was asking for you to really put a pin in, really starts the story at July the 23rd, which was around the first full moon in Aquarius. So think back to some of the things that were going on at that time in your life. I know for me, I was having a lot of really big frustrations around the way that I was showing up in my business and the way that my business was showing up for me. So I felt like, there were some things happening. I just wasn't really getting a handle on how to speak to people about what I was doing. I started another venture. It's called Traveler's Palm, where I'm selling dresses and I have some handbags. And as much like fanfare as I got for the store, this stuff is really nice, it's really pretty, people subscribe, nobody had bought anything, and I was struggling to figure out how best to market it, how best to tell people about it. I was trying to figure out what's going on with Rack City B, and all of what she's doing. Like, is this just expression, or is this leading to something? And at this time, it's just expression, but I know that it's more. It just hasn't really completely unfolded yet. So I'm just letting it do what it do. And as far as the readings and whatnot were concerned, I started doing goddess readings, and along with my regular readings. And as much as I was talking about it, I wasn't getting the traction that I wanted. So I was feeling so frustrated. I was feeling like things just really weren't moving, and I didn't know what I needed to do to like move things along faster. So that's what was happening for me around that time. So again, think back to what was happening with you. What were some things that might have been ending? What were abrupt endings? What were like doors flung wide opens for you? What was closing? What had this sense of finality but still wasn't quite complete? So pinpointing that, you'll know like what's the rest of the work that needs to be done to completely end that cycle. There's a level of finality that's happening right now. So if you want to put that in the comments, feel free to do so, but I'm going to move on to the next point. The one thing I do want to say is, again, that this is a rare blue moon, because again, think about a blue moon, once in a blue moon. That's really where that saying comes from. And this particular blue moon in Aquarius is around change, but everything is amplified. So it's change amplified. It's the need for more freedom amplified. It's the need for the spotlight shining on something, like to really get your attention in a particular area of life that really needs an overhaul, that really needs your attention. So it feels like it's just so much like, you know how you feel when you're frustrated? I just really want this thing to change, or it's taking too long. Well, it's like times 10 now. It's like, well, what do I need to do? Because it's just a lot of this light shining on this thing. You can't get it out of your head. It seems to keep popping up and attacking you, so to speak. It's like that thing that I mentioned in the other post that I put up, that's like running rent free in your mind. You're like, what do I need to do to kill this in my head? Because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of talking about it. And it just bought a billboard on the side of your house with the brightest light. So every time you open the windows, there it is, staring at you, shining its light in your face. Like, this really needs your attention. This is that time. So this has been fun, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And one of my friends had talked about, she's been calling this a lightning bolt moment. And I guess I should call it like the hurricane moment, where you're like, I'm just, lazing about, and we're going to do ATVs today, or ride bikes, or go to the beach or something. And then it's like, yeah, about that hurricane that's about to hit y'all later on in the following morning. You're like, hurricane? Where? Huh? What you mean? Cinema tape? What's happening? Yeah, it's like this smack dab, like, bam, in your face type of situation, right? So that's what's happening. And the sign of Aquarius is about switching up how you do things. It really is a moment of put your pencils down and push yourself away from the table of the normal way that you do things. So it is rife with change. And don't nobody like change, right? Change means different. Change means I can't access things that have happened to me in the past, experiences, knowledge, personal knowledge about things, because it's different. That means we're looking at creativity. That's coming in. We're looking at innovation. That's coming in. And we're also looking at different vantage points, different perspectives. So where we may see things head on normally, it is take another gander, walk around the side, and look at it from the back and see if there's something that's different. And it always is, right? So this really is a time to trust. Trust is so necessary here. And it's really also about accessing that place within you that is a reminder of the experiences, the wins, the celebrations, and all those other little things, just to remind you of your strength, to remind you of your courage, to remind you that you've got this and you're ready. It is also a time to trust that there are resources around you that are going to help move you along, that will illuminate your path. And it's also a time of really having faith, really recognizing that you're clear on your vision and that the universe, universal consciousness, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it, is supporting you in your next move, in your vision, in your purpose, and you have access to that. So this isn't a time to be up in here thinking. It's not a time to be like, well, let me just strategize this moment. This really is a time to sit with and access that faith muscle, that trust muscle, that intuition that is within all of us, and wait for the answers. And let me tell you something, that shit ain't easy. I feel like I waited all July and most of August for answers. And I was getting little bits and pieces of puzzles and little bits and downloads. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Is there more coming? Yes. When is it coming? Am I supposed to do something for it now? No. You have to wait until the rest of this is revealed to you. You have things to go through first before we're going to give you the full puzzle to fuck around with. And I'm not patient. I want all the motherfucking answers. I want them all now. Like, what am I supposed to do? You want me to sit here with this energy and just, what am I doing? And it was painful. Fucking painful. Because I don't want to operate like that. It's just hard ways to operate in general. But really, I had to sit still because I had to learn some things based upon the little bits and pieces that they're giving me. And even sitting in stillness and being patient is a muscle that had to be exercised. Because again, when we're talking about operating in faith, operating in trust, and not using our minds to figure out what we're supposed to do, but like listening to our intuition and being present in our body and really taking those guided steps, those intuitive guided steps, it really requires patience. Because some stuff that you're given, some little hints that you're given are not necessarily for you to do anything with right in that moment. It could be, we're just going to give you this for a second. Hold that. Okay, should I put it in my purse? You want me to put this in the fridge? You want me to take this down the street? Am I supposed to get it to a neighbor? Am I supposed to do a project, a vision board? What am I doing? We just told you, hold it. So you want me to sit? I'm just holding this. There's nothing else you're gonna give me with it. Nothing else. Can I start something so that when you give me the other pieces, I'll be a little farther. We just told you to hold it. Like, you know, like you give a dog a snack and you're like, all right, Benji. No. The snack's right there. The dog's like, I'm supposed to eat this right now. You know, this is what you put it down here for, right? And you're like, no, you're just testing the dog. That's like what's happening to us. And we're not patient. We want all the answers now. We want to think about it. We want to move through. We're like, well, let's grasp it. Let me get a book out and figure out how this is supposed to work. And that's not the place that they're asking us to move through. They're not asking for us to go through things that way. Because if you think about the thinking and the toiling and the strategy and the planning and all that stuff, that is energy output. There's no flow in there. There's no faith in that. There's no creative movement. There's no ebbing and flowing there. It's just, it's just jagged, right? Hey, you sit, It's just jagged. That doesn't feel good. So the other thing I had wanted to talk to you guys about is like in the process of all of this stuff happening. You didn't miss everything. We still talking. So in the process of all this stuff happening, there are lessons forming. And what you may be noticing is that there are some hard truths, some things that you haven't quite been honest about that are coming up that are yelling like, I know you heard me when I said to leave that fool. I know you heard me when I said to cut that off. I know you heard me when I said to leave that job. But no, no, that's not what it meant. It's that little nagging feeling. You know, the one that's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you're like, no, that's not really hurtful. No, it's not nagging. No, I'm not bothered. La, 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 la. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, yeah, oh, you want me to get loud? Oh, okay. All right. I know you heard me. Let's turn up the heat a little bit, and maybe you'll hear me then. So that's what happened. I'm looking at my business, and I'm showing up doing these lives, and I'm feeling disconnected from my gift. And the gift that I started with, like anytime I pressed live where I got a chance to share, there was this sense of nervousness because I'm practicing. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but as far as reading with cards and without cards, first of all, the reading with the cards, that's the first time I had done that. The first time I did it was November of 2020, like the end of November, more like early December of 2020. So I've only been doing this for like 8 months, 9 months max. There have been people that I know in my peer group who've been reading, doing readings, psychic readings, accessing cards and all that stuff. They've been doing this for several years. They've been practicing, they've been journaling, they've been accessing this gift for years. And I'm reading for them. And I've only been doing it for months, right? So it was practice for me to get confidence, for me to trust that whatever the message was that was coming to me, that was coming out of me to you, was the real message. For me to have confidence in that this is true. So I don't second guess what I'm given, what I feel, what I hear, what I see that is for you, and give you half a message or part of a message or not the right message because I want to interject. I want to interject what I think sounds right, what I might know personally of you. And they're like, you ain't a part of this. You are only supposed to be a vessel. So that in and of itself is practice. There are certain things that have to happen in the beginning before you get there. A long line of work to even trust and recognize whatever all of this is, right? And there aren't special people that have the ability to tap into themselves and hear things and see things and touch things, taste things, whatever. All of us have that ability. We all have that. But there are some people who have stronger connection to certain things. But if they practiced, they have it all. And they are doing certain work that allows for them to have enough clarity and recognition of when it's them and when it's not them. When it is not them. They have enough of that because they've done their work. And so as you do your work, and your work looks like becoming more connected to you. So when I put that spread up there and I said to you to set an intention, that was your practice, right? The way that I was doing readings before was I'm doing all this work. I come, you sit, I give you a reading, and then you take that and you do with what you want. Nothing, a little bit, something, and then we move on until the next time, and it's the same thing, or maybe something different, or something related. But this time, this is you being involved in the process simply by setting the intention, like I mentioned. And setting an intention is simply stating your desire. I desire for this to be an answer to the question that's been running roughshod and giving me sleepless nights for the last whatever. I desire that this card provide me with the guidance and support that I need to make it through a really tough time. I desire that this card shows me something that I couldn't see and illuminates the path that I couldn't see so that I know where to step next. That is setting an intention. It's simply stating your desire, right? So you guys got the opportunity to do that if you don't do it normally. The other thing that I asked you to do was to take a deep breath, or take a couple. And taking breaths breath in and of itself is a way for you to get connected to your body. Because when you're inhaling, you're paying attention to how your stomach is coming out or going in. You're paying attention to how long you're holding it for. You're not in your head when you're really doing deliberate breathing. You're not in your head about that. So that means this ain't ruminating. It's doing what it's doing, but you're like, I don't even see you right now because I'm down here below the neck. I'm connected now. I am present now with what is giving me these messages. So I can hear things differently. I can feel things differently. I'm more aware now. And that is where you access your intuition. Right? Didn't know the breath was so powerful, did you? Like, well, it just keeps me alive. Well, it doesn't just do that, though. There's a little more than that. Hey, Tammy, I've missed you. Right? So you took a breath. You took a couple of breaths. Got connected. And then I asked you to look at the cards. These lovely, beautiful cards. Look at the cards. And then breathe again. And then notice what you feel when you look at these cards. Notice what is calling you. And even the words calling you is intuition. What are you hearing? That's like clairaudience. Something is coming to you and you're hearing it. What are you feeling? That's clairsentience. What's feeling in your body so strongly that you're like, this is the one right here? What about if you're seeing something? Like if you close your eyes and you're like, the third one on the right is really sitting strongly in my mind's eye. That's clairvoyance. So you access that simply by doing this exercise. And as you continue to practice and play around and kind of see some things, you'll find that you could be sitting up here reading these cards or not reading cards and just telling people about themselves all day, every day. It's simply practice. Simply practice. I too am blown the neck. How you say? I love you. You are a hot mess. So this is an exercise in you practicing your own gift. You know, everybody who is a peer of mine who does these, who sits up here and they read these cards, or they don't read cards, but read your energy, tap into your body and do all this work to get to the place of being able to do this right here, is pretty much a moment of what you guys had to do just to pick a card. And there's so much more when you're doing this for other people than it is when you're doing it for yourself. So when I was doing this before, I was losing connection with my gift. And if I would have continued to do it that way, I probably would stop exercising my gift in this way. But I know that it's really important to me to connect with you guys. It's really important for me to serve in this way. And I have fun doing this. I love doing this, but I wouldn't want for me to come at it from a place of anger or resentment or tiredness or exhaustion, which was how I was coming. And I have to do so much work to get out of that energy space so that I can show up like this. But it was a lot that I have to do to get to here. So the last one that I did, where I was reading everybody individually, I came to that thinking I was going to be sad. I was excited. I was ready for the next chapter. And that, interestingly enough, was what was going on like end of July all the way through August to now, which was the way that you're going about doing your business is not sustainable. It cannot continue this way. It is not supposed to feel like this. But I was ignoring it because I thought I'm giving to people, right? I'm serving people. This is important work that I'm doing. But everything within me was like, put it down. But I wanted to ignore that. So it got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I'm glad that I didn't, because coming here to do it this way, without like all the other stuff that I had to do, this feels different to me. And I'm sure that my energy is coming through in a different way than it has been, aside from, all of this. So anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you because I love sharing my story, because I want you guys to know that whatever you're going through, whatever is coming up for you, whatever is that hard message you ain't want to hear, you ain't want to listen to all these months, like, you're not alone in that. Like, I may sit up here and be like some sort of authority, whatever, like God, guru, whatever, I don't know. But I go through shit too all the fucking time. Like, this shit ain't easy at all, just because I can access some cards, or hell, I don't even need the cards anymore. But it's not easy, and you're not alone. So I love sharing my story so that you can experience, like, the fuckery. You get a chance to experience, like, all that this shit show can be sometimes. But also know my heart. Also know my work. Also know that, what I have to do in order to do this is, when I give you guys a reading and I'm telling you some hard shit and you're like, oh my fucking, like, how much longer am I got work to do? How much longer am I doing this shadow work? Like, you ain't alone. Like, you don't see behind the camera. I'm not sharing my whole life, but shit is real out here. I went live, I think maybe 2 or 3 times to be talking about my frustration about stuff. Like, I was just mad. So between July and now, I was pissed off. I could go back to those and I'm like, these things should be deleted. I was angry. I went on my personal page and was talking reckless because it was just heavy. And I didn't know what that was. So now that we've gotten to this and things have been clearer and I've listened to the guidance that was finally given to me, this was a little bit easier than it would have been if I'm like holding on with bleeding hands, which is probably what some of you guys are doing. You know how I know? Because that's what the fuck I was doing the last full moon when they said put it down in the first place. This was me, like, you sure? No, I don't know how they gonna know me? How am I gonna serve the people? This is what they come to me for. Like, I wanna be there. Like, what am I supposed to? They didn't give me an answer. They said just stop that and trust that whatever comes in its place will be bigger and better for you and them too. And so I was sitting here like, what, should I sing and dance? What am I going to do for these lives? Am I just going to strip? What are we talking about here? So this is all new, but again, it feels good. So trust that whatever guidance and wisdom that you're getting, trust that whatever path is being illuminated, trust that whatever they're asking you to release and let go of for your sake and everyone else's, no matter how hard it is, trust that they got you. Trust that you have the resources. Trust that you have whatever you need at your fingertips to make it happen, because whatever it is, even if you can't see another way, is for you. It's for the best for you. It is for your highest and best good. It is for you to be the best that you could be to yourself and other people. It's important. So whatever you have to do to pry your little fingers off of stuff that they're saying, like, get rid of, do that. Use this time to do that. Let me see what else. Oh, lastly, the Jupiter. So Jupiter is running conjunct in the moon, and what that means is that Jupiter is providing a little bit of abundance. It's providing a little bit of luck. So that is positive. So again, when you're thinking about the stuff that you need to let go of and you're worried, Jupiter got you. There's manifestation with Jupiter. There's luck, there's goodness. And because Jupiter is huge, it's the biggest planet in this particular solar system, know that whatever the manifestation is, it's going to be big. It's going to be bold. I can't tell you what it's going to be, but again, make room for it and trust that whatever comes in the place of the thing that you're releasing is going to be magnified. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. But you got to trust. So let me get to the card reveal, because I know I've been on one and y'all just been like, let me talk, because you know how I do. So, oh, hey, Aquila. I'm in the exact same position as you, as currently not building a business I can sustain, yeah. But I don't know what to do next, but I've been asking. Yeah. It has not been easy. Asking is great, but you also have to listen and feel into what is coming to you. Sometimes the nudges are really subtle, and until they start getting louder and louder and louder. So right now, with the full moon in Aquarius for the second time, what is the specific thing within your business that seems to be amplified right now? What is the thing in your business where you're like, I need more freedom? And if I stop doing this in my business, I will have said more freedom. Then that may be the thing to examine. But just, again, set the intention that you're going to get the answer that you need, so that you can make the choice and decision or take the action that you need to. and go on from there. So for those of you who were on here that revealed that, or who picked card number 1, this is card number 1. So card number 1 is connect to heart. Connect to heart. So I don't know how many ones are on here. If you are a 1, put the 1 in the comments so you can see who's all up in here together. But connecting to the heart, this is perfect because you were a 1 yesterday. Perfect. So this is about water. Again, this is about flow. When you're thinking about connecting to your heart has a level of vulnerability. And when you're talking about vulnerability, it's really about looking at, again, your past wins, your past celebrations, your past hardships, and your past experiences. Not to say these are the things that are now going to inform this new space that I'm in. No. These are the things that are going to remind me of my bad bitchness. These are the things that are going to remind me of my strength. These are the things that are going to remind me that I am that motherfucker. These are the things that are going to remind me of who the fuck I am, so that I can carry my head high and push my shoulders back and be resolute and confident in the next steps that are coming to me, right? So that is how the heart is supposed to help you. So you're going to move beyond the fear. Keep in mind too, when you're looking at your heart, pay attention to see if you have some defense mechanisms or there's armor up around your heart because of past heartbreaks that you've experienced, because that armor and those defense mechanisms are shielding you from experience. They're shielding you from fully feeling. They're shielding you also from fully living. So examine those places to see where you can take the armor off. And again, reminding yourself of who you are shows you that you don't need that, because you are strong, you are courageous, you're ready right now. Okay? So use this to connect with your heart, to connect and release your heart from the shackles of the armor and all the heaviness that you have in place that's supposed to protect you. Because again, that is shielding you from love, from connection, from wisdom, and the fullness of life. And this is really the time for that. Again, we are doing something different. Aquarius is about doing something completely out of the ordinary for you, and trusting that what you're being asked to do that's different from what you're normally used to doing is the best move. All right. So let me know how you feel about this card yesterday and any other one who is in here with the 1s. And I'm going to move on to the second card. So any 2s here, put 2 in the comments if you are a 2. Aquila, were you a 2? I can't remember if you were a 2. Whatever the card was, I think you were a 2, because you said this says bam, and I was like bam, like the salt man, like, or was it bam like you said bam like it was light? So let me know who in here is a 2, and I'll just hold it up because your card is trust. Now, how many times have I said this tonight? If this was a drinking game, you 2 people would be drunk, because I've said trust like a million fucking times. You would be laid out from like alcohol poisoning. That's how often I said trust tonight. Makes sense with my other personal daily card pulls. Yes, I'm glad to hear that. So trust, again, trust is about having that faith. It is about remembering your vision, and also trusting that the resources that you need to move forward are available to you, and that they got you. You are held, and everything that's coming forward for you is for your highest and best good. All right. That is the second one. So seek the evidence. Remember who you are. Seek your past. Seek your wins, celebrations, all the stuff you've been through, and remember who you are, so that you can trust that what is coming and what you're being asked to do are things that you can do. They are things you can do. So for you yesterday, again, go back to your business, and if there are certain areas that are shining more brightly than others, then look at that and see, is this something I need to release? Is there some closure I need to have around this? And the closure doesn't necessarily have to do with the thing in your business. It could simply be the way that you're talking about it. Could be the way that you're marketing it to people. could be the people that you're marketing it to. There could be a number of places where closure is necessary and change needs to happen. So just sit with that and set the intention, like, I'm going to get an answer that I need that's going to give me, pinpoint me, and take me to the direct space in my business that I personally need to fix right now to turn things around. All right? So let me know how that sits with you in the comments. And then meanwhile, for the last, if you are a 3, put a 3 in the comments. There were a lot of 3s. And I think that this is quite apropos to the time frame. So it was a little race happening. The 3s, I believe y'all went out. But although I think the 1s came pretty strong towards the end. So if you were a 3, your card is the Reclaim card. Now this card is about fire. There's some doing happening. You are getting something. You are taking some action of some sort. And really how this has to do with, again, the time for Aquarius, the full moon in Aquarius, is about reclaiming and remembering your ancient knowledge. Reclaiming and remembering your ancient wisdom and your experiences of the past, even deeper than what you remember in your mind, but innate knowledge, right? Knowledge that's been passed down for generations that you have access to. All of that in you. Access that. Reclaim that. Sit with that. There is an inner knowing that comes with that. You know, our ancestors were faithful people. They were spiritual people. And given the things that they've gone through in order for our line to continue so that you and I could be sitting here right now, they had a lot of faith. They prayed a lot. They ritualed a lot. They sacrificed a lot. And that is within us, right? That's within us. So access that. It's still here. To remember again who you are and what you're capable of doing. Access that. Reclaim that. Follow the path. There it is. Follow the path and trust. So for the 3s, let me know how you feel about your card and if it resonates with you. This was a lot of fun. Let me know also in the comments, for the ones who are still here, if I should pull a goddess card, just so you guys can see what goddess has come out to support you at this time. If you don't want a goddess card, let me know. But I could pull one out collectively here, or I could just do that on my personal page. So I have them available and ready to go. Praying more now than ever in recent history. Yeah, we have to. I mean, times have changed so much. What exactly are we going to be able to access in our lifetime to explain away what's happening right now? Nothing. I mean, yes, there were pandemics, but were there pandemics with this level of technology and this number of people in this particular period of time with these circumstances going on and for this length of time and all over the... No, this is unprecedented. So we have to have faith. We have no choice. We can't do it the way that we've been doing it. And I know so many of us want to go back to, pre-pandemic days. Like, when is it? Huh? Again, we gotta approach this now from a different vantage point, a different perspective. Oh, definitely my time to reclaim. I like that one. I'm glad you like that, Myra. Yeah, that was for you. You picked it. So, you know, the longer that we're holding on to the way things used to be, the more painful it's going to be for us. And we can still thrive. We can still live. We can still be healthy. We can still, you know, have access to the things and the creature comforts and all that stuff that we're used to. It's just going to come differently. It's going to look differently. We're going to have to access it differently. But it doesn't mean it's over. Right? It's not over. So I'm going to shuffle and talk at the same time. This has been amazing. I've had such a good time. I hope that you guys have had a good time too. If this has been helpful for you, please feel free to drop a donation in my blessings box. Any donation is I'm happy for. I'm grateful for. So I actually put them in the description, but I will repeat them here. For Cash App, it's $Supernova B. For Venmo, it's @Supernova B. And for PayPal, it is paypal.com/workwithdiva. If you would like a reading, a private reading with me, where we'll be pulling a card. I'll do a recording and provide that for you, whether it's a full reading of about an hour, almost an hour, or it's a goddess reading where we're actually pulling a goddess card for you to show you who is supporting you, to show you what attributes or characteristics you need to access right now. For your own personal situation, then you could go to msha.ke/Ms. Biba. The first, I think it's the first screen that shows up is like my regular readings, and then the second screen that shows up is the goddess reading. So you can pick one of the two. Note that goddess readings will be going away at the end of the month, but again, since I let go of some things, what came up is to do something other than goddess reading. So I'll be sharing a little bit more about what that is looking like. So it's an opportunity to actually work with me, not necessarily for me to deliver, a message to you, but actually go beyond delivering a message, walking you through it, working through any resistance and emotions that you have, setting intentions around what the reading is supposed to be, giving you guided affirmations to take with you so that you can access that at any time to help you, doing some energy work. Like, it's a full-blown thing that I'm developing, and that came about because I took that trip. That's where it happened. That's where I did it for the first time. So it's a reminder that I already have an experience where I've done, the sessions that I'm developing now. So, which I couldn't have imagined doing, like, at all. So what I gave up made way for that to happen, and it's so much bigger than I could have even imagined. And it encompasses all of who I am, all of my interests, my experience, my abilities, gifts, all that stuff. And travel too, like, it's crazy. It's come together, and I feel like now I have all the answers, and all I have to do is just finish putting the puzzle pieces together. So I'm excited. All right, what goddess wants to come up for the folks to support them? Because this Aquarius full moon's been dragging motherfuckers, and they need support. So who we got? Is it you? Oh, it's Esther. Growth. So I'm going to move this closer. Growth. Well, that's fitting. That is fitting. Growth. That's who's here to support you. That is the characteristic that we're dealing with right now. This is what this is about. This is about growth. It's about up-leveling. I am the movement toward becoming, expanding, enhancing the pulse deep within all being, to develop, evolve, press onward, to fulfill all that is possible. Esther. Is it Esther? Am I pronouncing her? I'm sorry. Oyster. I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. I mean to disrespect your name like that. Oyster. Oyster comes into your life with her springtime message of personal growth. All right? It is time to open to things in your life that facilitate growth, development, evolution. Is there a class or workshop you've been wondering if you should take? Do it now. Is there something new that you want to include in your life? Let it in now. Have you just gone through a period of stagnation and lethargy where nothing seemed to be happening? You are speaking my whole life right now. Let it go. All right, done deal. You don't got to yell at me like that. Now is the time of growth. Oyster says that wholeness is nurtured when you embrace experiences. We talked about that. Risks. We talked about that too. And occasions that cause you to stretch. The stretching promotes growth. Hey, Nicolette. Definitely catch the replay. And pick a card too. I think you picked a card. The stretching promotes growth, you guys. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Pop it in the comments. I want to know where you guys are at. Are you feeling like you got some clarity? Are you feeling like, okay, I'm understanding a bit more about what's happening right now? I have a general idea of like what I need to do moving forward, or that I'm okay in whatever is happening, even though it could be a total and complete shit show. How are we feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. Because today started off great. And then so the plane ain't crashed, but it was headed that way. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? So I'll wait a little bit, see if anybody wants to pop on and say some last few words before I call it a night. Great session. I was listening and taking notes. Needed to hear it. Yes. Yay. So glad to hear that, Myra. So glad to hear that. That's why I do these things. It is eye-opening, so illuminating, and really it does let you know that whatever's happening is for a reason. It's always for the best for you, even when it doesn't feel that way, it doesn't look that way, can't possibly be that way, especially with the hardships that we're all facing in our lives. But you know, some of this is a natural part of life, and others of it is like, we got this, we got you. So I'm glad that this has been helpful. I will see you guys back again, same time. Well, maybe not the same time, same bat channel until it's not. One of these days it's not going to be, because Facebook be getting on my nerves. But I'll be back here for the new moon. I don't remember what it's in, and I'm thinking about doing some energy healing work soon, maybe over the next day or two, around if this Aquarius full moon energy is dragging you, to help to bring up your energies a bit as we're moving through the remainder of this energy. The Aquarius full moon started yesterday, actually. We had it yesterday. So typically on the back end and even beforehand, it's over the next 3 days. 3 days before, day of, and 3 days after. The energy of that moon is still prevalent. So you may still be feeling like you getting dragged right now. So I might do some energy healing work to help you guys out. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you. Please feel free to share this with people, and whoever comes on and watches it later, just let me know it's a replay in the comments, and I will see them when they're here. If you got questions, hit me up in the DMs. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Love you. Bye.